and welcome to vlog number 3. So I just got off of a client phone call and we were talking about when the ad's going to be run and that sort of thing. And I also just got off a lead phone call, so a new lead came in and I contacted them, but they didn't answer. So I don't think that's going to be a highly qualified lead, as I followed up with them on WhatsApp, called them again, but there was no answer. So I don't think that's going to be a highly qualified lead. That's just a little update as to the agency and what's going on with that. But in today's video, I want to talk to you about why client communication is so important. So I'll give you an example. I signed and got the client, the prospect that was interested in working with the agency, the 8 free highly qualified leads. And I did that and everything was going well. And then he said to me, I'll pass your details over to other people I know that are in the similar sort of trade. And I said, yeah, that's great, you know, client referrals. Everything's going well, I couldn't ask for more. That's brilliant. So I actually ended up signing 2 new people that were interested in generating them the 8 free leads the day after, 2 new businesses, and I set up and run ads for one, and I haven't set up the ads for the other yet. That is why I had that client phone call. I was talking to the client, telling them that I haven't run the ad yet, and that social media posting is a great way to do it, so we started to do a bit of that as well. But the ad isn't there yet, and so that is why client communication is so important. You always need to be upfront and honest with your clients, and I don't believe I would have signed those 2 extra clients or 2 extra prospects, people that I'm generating the 8 leads for, if I hadn't been so, I kept in communication with the client that got those people interested in the agency for me. So by staying in contact with that one client and checking up with them, I was calling up, checking in things, how we're going, if there's any changes to the business, etc. And by doing that, I built a good relationship with them, built trust with them, hence why they passed their number over to 2 other businesses. And that is why I have now signed the 2 more people I'm generating the 8 leads for. So that is kind of what I'm getting at with the whole client communication is so important. It can lead to you generating more clients, but more importantly, for the clients you do have and you just keep in contact with them, it builds trust. It just makes the whole process a lot more seamless, as if you hadn't and things had changed in their business and things had adapted to the way that made them different. And so I don't really think that if you didn't stay in contact with them, your results would be half as good. So by staying in contact with them, you keep prospect interested, keep them actively involved in what it is that you're doing, and that in turn makes them want to work with you more, wants to understand how you work and understand processes that you have to do for your business, making the whole thing seem a lot more seamless and effortless. So it does work both ways. By you keeping in contact with your client, you understand what's going on. But more importantly, and probably the biggest part of it, is actually you get to understand if they have any issues or if they have any concerns they want to talk to you about. By you initiating the conversation or starting the outreach to them, they can come back with you with any issues or any worries or anything that they may be worried or concerned about when it comes to running the ads or providing the service or whatever it is that you are doing for that client. And so how do you sort of keep in contact with the client? Well, there's many different ways to do it. You have phone calls, you have videos, Instagram DMs, emails, anything of that nature. Texting is also another great option. And so by doing these, like I said, you not only build trust, but you get to understand their concerns, their issues, or anything they want to adjust or change the way you do things or the way they are doing things, what you want to put on the ad for them. And so by doing a simple video every now and then, that is a great idea, whether it's just you showing them what you're doing on your laptop or you are sending them live reports, as that is also an option. If you're running meta ads, you can send them live reports and they can see what's going on in live time. Or if they don't really want to know the ins and outs of it, they just want to know the key metrics, you can send them those over as well. So essentially the point I'm trying to get at is client communication. So important, and it's one of the massively overlooked things. People just sign their clients, send them the results, and that is it. They don't do any further communication. They don't wonder what's going on. Is there any changes? Because there might be, and there's such a minor change, but for your ad it makes such a difference. So you need to be aware of all these things and all the changes that are going on with your client's business. And like I said, the only way to sort of do this in the most efficient way possible is by keeping in contact with them. Not just signing them as a client and then leaving them, not either contacting them again. That is one of the major downfalls that I do see many businesses make. And I think a lot of people overthink client communication as well. It doesn't have to be some complicated workflow or automation or anything like that. It can simply be just you every now and then texting your client, making it seem like a natural conversation. Obviously, if you need to add reporting and things like that, that becomes a bit more complicated, as you need to know how to send them live reviews or anything of that nature. But generally, client communication is so simple, and that is why I believe it's so effective, because it's really simple, anyone can do it, yet it's one of the most overlooked things probably in the business space. So even if you're a product-based business, you can still keep client communication. This will probably be done by emails. You'll collect an email when they purchase your product, but by checking in with them, asking for a review so you get to understand feedback and how everything's going. That is another great way. So you can do this over email. Like I said, reviews are a brilliant way to find out if your service or product is going well, or if the consumer likes it. And so even if you have a product, keeping in contact with them, you understand how to improve it. You understand what issues they may be having with the product and how to improve it for future customers. So that way when future customers do buy it, you get a good reputation and everything kind of builds up into the client satisfaction agenda. So client satisfaction, if you've been watching my other videos, I've mentioned in a lot of them, that is one of the most important things for me. When I'm running my agency, it's really important that my clients are satisfied, they're happy, they are more than exceeding their expectations of service that I provide, and hopefully generating them some great results and great value. It's customer satisfaction. Value comes into that massively. If you don't provide them with any value or any initial value, it will be their client satisfaction, their satisfaction for your service, your product, your idea won't be as high. And so by keeping this high, by keeping in contact with them, it all helps to build value and to build client satisfaction rates and make them go higher. So kind of to sum everything up then, client communication is so important. And why is it important? Because it builds trust with your prospects, with your clients. It allows you to keep in contact with them, but more importantly, they keep in contact with you to adjust or change anything that needs to be changed in the business. And then from there, you can understand their pain points, what to improve for the future. Perhaps you might ask them for a review, as that is a brilliant way to understand a prospect's issues that they're having and actually get a real honest opinion for your product, your service or idea. Like I said, this really can be for anything, even a product. By keeping in contact with them through email, maybe you've set up automations to automatically ask them how you're getting on with the product or anything that is related to that idea. These are all brilliant ways to keep in contact and to make sure your client satisfaction rates are really high, making sure you provide the most value you can to their business. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to take it one step at a time, and I'll see you in the next one.